Hello, and welcome back to Crit and Crit. I'm Sent,
I'm Axiom.
and we are continuing our brief dive into Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart, while we get knocked off of a platform, haha, in Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
I hate getting
Yeah,
hurt.
I just have to say that due to reasons unrelated to this video, watching you get smacked around by Legion there is immensely satisfying.
I bet it would be.
Get you a DM who doesn't throw Castlevania crap at you in your own games. Anyway, last time we talked about the plot of The Telltale Heart, which can be summed up as, I got away with murder, but I didn't. Speaking of, let's talk about getting away with murder.
So, people have speculated for ages, what makes the perfect crime?
Piracy.
Alright, what makes you say that?
Well, to quote Adult Swim, well, it's not like it's actually hurting the average creator. It's just hurting the bottom line of, like, massive corporations. So it's really just the shareholders who aren't contributing anything anyway who are being punished for something, for, doing absolutely nothing.
Okay, so modern piracy, not, like, hoist the sails and actually ravage some ships.
Look, when every September, when the kids start going R, I just say I'm not paying $600 for Photoshop.
Nor should you.
Well, yeah, not when there's like very good freeware out there that does the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't even have to pirate to not pay $600 to use Photoshop. I can just use one of the open license things. Anyway. But yeah, it's one of those technically a victimless crime thing, because it's not like they're taking something away from you. And to people who are like, oh, but what if you pirated a book? It's called going to the library. I read the book, I bring it back, other people get to enjoy it. Huzzah, society goes on.
I hate these guys. Oh, I'm out of hearts.
I mean, it's nothing to lose your head over.
Things a little late for that.
Yeah. For them, at least. But, yeah, so, the perfect crime. I suppose most people, when they think about it, would say that the perfect crime is one that no one knows you've committed.
Yep, and that you get away with scot-free.
So, it cannot happen anywhere near Edinburgh.
Oh, my word.
Because it has to be scot-free. Sorry, would have preferred I said Glasgow?
So it's a crime that you do not get caught, and there's not even a hint of blame towards you.
I like how you quickly went to read more of the definition so I couldn't as easily pun about Scotland.
I didn't read anything, I'm playing the game.
I said reword.
Oh, reword. Yes. Stopping you from punning is one thing I try to do. I'm not usually very good at it.
I was about to say, you're about as good at it as our narrator was with actually getting away with murder. Just to say, he thinks he's actually doing really well with it up until he doesn't. Except, as we've discussed a little bit before, maybe not so much? But, yeah. So...
The definite impression I got, at least, was that he thinks he's getting away with it, but the authorities in question are fairly certain something is up, and are basically letting him hang himself.
Yeah, and looking at it again, I think you're probably more correct. But yes, the narrator does take great pains to mention that he has made sure that there is absolutely no reason anyone would look at him as far as a motive goes. I've always been perfectly polite to the old man. I don't have anything against him, I just think his eye's really creepy, and as again we've discussed, he can't help that. We're pretty sure he's blind. He's blind in that eye.
I literally have 3 HP left. I am gonna die again.
I mean, you should be used to that by now.
I know you guys are probably tired of seeing me running back and forth from that one save point over and over. Where is the nearest save point? On the other side of that tunnel.
But yeah, he mentions that he plays nice with the old man, so no one would ever suspect that he had any reason to kill him. Like just happened to you. He spends a week practicing sneaking in super quietly, like to the point where it takes him several hours to get inside the door. Because, you know, not going to be suspicious at all if anyone happened to find out he was, you know, in the hallway doing that. Because, what would you find stranger? Oops, I took a wrong turn on the way to the bathroom, or let me just slowly creep my head into the door, real surreptitiously like, and do my own theme music like my name is Kronk. Yeah, like, you always have some people who think that they're a lot sneakier than they are, and I'm not even going to be generous enough with our narrator to say that he is quite sneaky, but he rolled a 4.
Did you hear that, guys? I rolled a 4!
Always that one guy that ruins stealth for the entire group. But, yeah. So yeah, he managed to figure out that he could get in there pretty quietly if he was really careful, but when he actually goes to commit the deed, even though this is highly premeditated, he completely loses his mind, panics, and has to do the job pretty quickly, and, you know, says that he's been very careful about collecting the blood so it doesn't splash anywhere, and then the police show up because he didn't kill the man that quietly. The old man screamed. And, you know, when it's 3, 4 in the morning and someone screams, yeah, you probably want to have somebody look into that, because what is going on? And, yeah, we've also mentioned that he is convinced that the officers who are just sitting there calmly and talking, he thinks that they don't suspect him of the murder. We've pointed out that, you know, if the cops didn't suspect him, they would have left. And, yeah. If you answer the door at 3 or 4 in the morning, fully dressed,
wide awake,
and like, this is in an era where you're probably not gonna have much in the way of nocturnal shift options. Because, like, I do understand that today, yeah, we might have some people whose jobs make them get up that early or stay up that late. Narrator ain't one of them. Yeah, if you're up, awake, and alert, with no discernible reason why you should be, yeah, I think the officers might be a little sus. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right in that they had him pegged from the beginning, and we're just trying to let him, you know...
give him enough rope to hang himself.
Yep. And... he did. Like, he didn't just say something on accident, he just blurted out, "It's me, how can you not hear that noise?" And, well... do you think he actually heard a heartbeat?
I actually do think he did. But not as in he literally heard it, but he believed he was hearing it. I basically believe he was having an auditory hallucination.
Because that does track, because he does mention early on that he has very, very sharpened senses. So if he does have a really acute sense of hearing, he possibly could have heard something. I think he heard his own heartbeat and misinterpreted it as the dead man's.
That is also very likely.
Because, like, I have noticed, like, if you are in a state of anxiety, you kind of can become hyper aware of things that your body is doing just because you're fixated on something. So yeah, he could be hyper aware of his own heartbeat, and because all he can think about is, I buried the body here, including the heart, I still hear the heartbeat, I still hear the heartbeat. Like, no dude, that's probably your own. No, I hear the heartbeat, it's him. How is it still going? He's dead. I killed him. So, it could also be just guilt.
Yep, and guilt and other strong emotions have been known to produce auditory hallucinations.
Yeah, I can definitely see a case for the auditory hallucination thing, but I do more strongly believe that he's just misinterpreting due to his own guilt.
I'd say that's equally likely, and given the era that Poe wrote in, I actually would probably put that closer to his intent, because I don't think Poe would have been as aware of the kind of circumstances that can cause auditory hallucinations in his lifetime, just because of the stage that science was in at that era.
And yeah, I mean, Poe is coming at this from an era that, you know, medicine is interesting, so...
That's one way to put it. I do not have potions. I do not have any useful potions.
Yeah, I don't know how to exactly describe medicine prior to the current century and a half without pointing out the fact that hysteria was a common diagnosis for women on the grounds that they were having, you know, feelings about the fact that they had no power over their own lives in almost any aspect of society, and the largely male doctors didn't know how to describe that in a way that didn't make it their fault, so clearly it must be something making them crazy. See, the yellow wallpaper.
Ugh. Should we add that to the list?
Not really much to say. I can just say it right here. Oh, I'm sorry. You're having some postpartum issues. You should go lay in a bed, and you're not allowed to do anything that could distract your mind from the fact that you have to lay in a bed all day because you might have a stressful reaction to something. Even though I can tell you that being not able to do literally anything is so much more stressful than anything. But you know, the rest cure was a viable form of medicine for years. And clearly, if it's not working, you need more rest. No.
How can you be so tired from not doing anything?
Because my entire brain was consumed in not going insane. Let me do something. No, you're too delicate for that. Let me read a book. But yeah, getting off topic, let's go back to the crazy person in this story.
The crazy person who doesn't really have a reason for being crazy and violent. Unlike, you know, the abuse victim.
But yeah, guilt can be a very powerful motivator in a lot of stories, and in here it is the driving force. Like, even though he'd never be able to see it that way, that's what happened. Like, regardless of whether it's an auditory hallucination or just hyper-awareness of his own heartbeat or something entirely unrelated, due to his guilt, he attributed the sound he heard to the murder he had committed. And just that physical or mental reminder, whatever it may be, was enough for him to give up entirely on his master plan to get away with the murder and confess outright and show them where the body is and everything. And I can tell you another reason that guilt is a very powerful motivator, and it's that I went to Catholic school for a really long time. So yeah, guilt works. If you can find a way to guilt trip someone and they're really trained to be guilt tripped, it's gonna be I'm good. I'm sorry.
Oh, here's hoping I don't regret this.
Why would you ever regret this? Well, this honestly seems like a good place to kind of stop, because I'm kind of running out of things to say. Like, guilt is powerful. Guilt is not something that people can sit with very easily. It will make you need some sort of outlet. Like, I remember watching Monk when I was younger, and there was an entire episode where that was the conceit of someone committed murder, so a time capsule wouldn't be opened because they had written a letter of confession that they hid in the time capsule. Because they had an urge to get that out of their system, and they didn't want to be outed for it. So, yeah, guilt can make you do stupid things. Isn't it nice when friends play nicely together?
His knives are so much better than mine. Anyway, we'll continue.
You're using a whip!
No, I mean, he used the knife sub-weapon, and that I don't usually use because it's pretty weak. That.
Gotcha.
Anyway, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye!